go. So, on this special Nurses Week episode of the Clinician Voice podcast, we're joined again by Dr. Katie Boston-Leary, who's the Senior Vice President of Equity and Engagement at the American Nurses Association. She's also a nationally recognized nurse executive, and I'm excited to have her just powerful insights today on advancing the profession, supporting the nursing workforce, and inspiring bold leadership in times of great change. So, welcome again, Dr. Boston-Leary.
Thank you, Dr. Geiger. This has become an annual tradition. I'm excited to
It's
be here
become,
with you yet again.
it
Happy Nurses Week.
has. It has. Happy Nurses Week. You're the first to tell me Happy Nurses Week besides Josh. And
Oh,
I've spoken to a couple nurses today, and honestly, we are so busy that we forget to talk about it or even say anything. So, but I wanted to share a little bit about kind of your personal story or our personal story. So, you're just a beacon of light. You are everywhere. No, literally everywhere. And I joke about it because, I'm trying to keep up with your posts on LinkedIn and like them and support them, but I every now and then I'll look down and there's a couple that I missed. So I'm just always in awe of how you do it, how you stay in 2 and 3 places at one time, and just grateful to have just our moments to chat when we have time and just slow down and inspire other nurses to share their stories a bit. So let's get into it. You
all right.
ready?
Sure.
Okay. So, just in a time of reflection for Nurses Week, what does it personally mean to you?
Nurses Week is always special to me. Well, first of all, let me start with the month of May. The month of May is I told my husband that it's the best month in the year. And I know all the other non-May people will not agree with me, but it's for a number of things. It's my birthday month, it's Nurses
Happy
Week.
birthday.
Thank you. It's still got a couple weeks, but birthday
Okay.
month, Nurses Week, Mother's Day, got all the graduations, have got all the amazing fun stuff after hibernating all winter and with the weather change. Like it's just the best month. So Nurses Week is special to me because it really is where we try, and I emphasis on try, right? Because the work doesn't stop during Nurses Week. So we find and forge spaces to celebrate this amazing profession that we're all blessed to be a part of. So
Yeah.
um, I, for me, Nurses Week is like Christmas, and I know that sounds hokey, but that's just the way it is
No,
for me.
that sounds, yeah.
Because the gratitude comes from a number of different places you don't expect. Um, and to see images of nurses just celebrating themselves, celebrating the profession, celebrate how they contribute to society, warms my heart every single time. So it's like Christmas to me.
I love it. And we don't celebrate ourselves enough, I think.
No.
So I appreciate how you inspire and you're always celebrating other nurses. So while we're speaking on that, how are you working to amplify the voices of nurses across all settings during Nurses Week and, like you said, beyond Nurses Week?
Oh, there are a number of things. Well, we have ANA, we have the resources for every organization to utilize, download, adopt for their organizations to celebrate Nurses Week. And then we have a number of activities that we engage in. And this year, similar to previous years, we have Nurses Light Up the Sky events. So we have in various states where we have buildings that we're uplighting to
Oh, that's nice.
celebrate nurses.
Mhm.
The theme is the power of nurses and really recognizing the fact that we do have collective power that we don't
Mhm.
um, leverage as much as we should.
Right. Right.
Even as an individual, because power shows up in a number of different ways with one person or with many in terms of community. So just recognizing that power that we have is key. So
Mhm.
we have the Nurses Light Up the Sky. We have a number of events happening at in healthcare institutions around the country. Today, we had a breakfast hosted at Suburban Hospital in Maryland.
Oh, wow.
And the pictures are on our webpage, and we have a number of events lined up at Cedar Sinai, Baycare, Temple University Hospital, which is
Yeah.
next week. And I'm going to be at their Phillies game, where we'll have
Oh, nice.
nurses temporary tattoos that we're all going to wear. But let me stay with this week though. Tomorrow I'll be at Cook County General.
Okay.
Going to be at Howard University, celebrating their nursing students that are graduating and their
All
faculty.
right now.
We are going to be what's the other one? It's escaping me now, and it's a big one too. Howard, Temple, Cook County. There's one more I can't think of, but the point is, we're going to be at a number of places celebrating nurses, celebrating all that nurses do, and putting a smile on their face, even while they still struggle and manage a very heavy task and burden that we
Mm,
have to carry. Um,
absolutely.
as nurses. And so taking
Right.
the time out to celebrate nurses, we're doing a lot of different innovative things this year compared to last year. And every year we try to improve on what we did the previous year.
That's awesome. And a shout out, you did a shout out to several nurses and institutions. I love it. And I know that they'll feel special hearing that. So you've done quite a bit of work on well-being and nurse well-being as so as ANA, which is, there's some amazing toolkits on well-being on, that platform as well, the website. So where do you think that we still have work to do?
Oof, this is a tough one because I just did a
Yeah.
presentation today on this topic,
Hmm.
where as a country, and this is a Gallup study, it indicated that a lot of employees feel like their employers or don't care about their well-being.
Right.
And that's very much a case. And this is after all the efforts still that are being put in place with rooms for people to relax, particularly nurses to relax and take a breath,
Hmm.
programs to like, called lavender and things like that to help
Right.
manage immediate distress and debriefings and discussions. We there's so many things that are happening, and still we're not meeting the mark. And there was research just came out last week about burnout still being an issue.
Hmm. Yeah, an
So
ongoing issue.
ongoing
Hmm.
issue. So I got that question today, and my response was, it really is because we have to make more of a concerted effort in addressing workload.
Right.
And if we address workload from a physical, cognitive, psychological, emotional standpoint,
Hmm.
that is the love language that people are looking for. Like, help me manage my day. It's not about the periodic things that I don't necessarily have time to do while I'm
Hmm.
at work. I can't sit in a room when I have all this work that I still have to do. And I have patients that need me. They're sicker than they've ever been. I have all these
Right.
services that used to surround me that are no longer there, or um, they're not as available as they used to be. So I have to take
Hmm.
on more. So
Right.
I really do think that the effort has to be on reducing workload. It just has to. That is the way to finally address burnout and improve well-being.
Well said. And when when you were speaking just now, my mind went to that one word that we keep hearing, resilience. And so I'd like to get your thoughts on that because as some would say, in some of my past podcasts, some of the guests have mentioned when they hear the word resilience, it feels like we're putting the onus on the nurses to take care of their own burnout. So, and some of them feel that, we need to foster more resilience and we need to give them additional tools to help them be more resilient because they're going to always be times of challenge, like COVID-19 or like, we could have another epidemic come up or another pandemic arise. So what are your thoughts on, resilience and the onus for health systems or nurses, where that lies?
I struggle with this one because a year or two outside of the apex of the pandemic,
Hmm.
I was really pushing what I was hearing, which was, and I still kind of am, so I'm kind of caught in the middle
Yeah, I
because
am too with this one.
nurses do feel that this is an overused term.
Hmm.
And it's been used in a way where um, it's about, to your point, Robin, it's been about, focus on making me stronger, work
Yeah,
harder, but the systems stay the way they are, where it's demanding so
right.
much of me. Like the
Hmm.
hot mess that should be focused on is the system, not me.
Right,
And
right.
this system is going to make me a hot mess.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
like, and then you have people that are really doing some good work with, for example, my friend, Dr. Cinda Rushton, who has this
I
resilience
love her.
work that she's doing.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
that, by title alone, I don't want people to dismiss her work because it has that resilience tag on it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So, the answer is in the middle.
yeah,
Um, I think we should honor the fact that, if you're in this space working as a nurse, that's already built in, right? Because if you, in a number of ways, if you,
right.
life's lessons and life's, the journey you go through as a human being,
Hmm.
um, already toughens you up, builds some resiliency in, and then what you go through in nursing school builds that in as well. So you come to the table even without all the skills and
Right.
competency that you are expecting to have when you finish programs. You have something built in you. And it
Hmm.
also varies from person to person because
Right.
sometimes for some people it comes later in life when they're adults, but some people are born into environments
Fight mode.
that
Yeah,
like, and they're given names that
ready for it.
the
Hmm.
meaning of those names is toughness and resiliency, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's where it's a little challenging for me is how do we set this up where there isn't a rejection on the term at its face value, but we also
Right.
honor the fact that nurses come to the table with some of that built in. So it seems as if we're dismissing that if we're teaching them to be resilient. And also, what are we
Right.
doing about these systems that don't work for nurses? Like all those things
Right.
can be true.
Hmm.
So that's where I am with it. It's and
Hmm.
I'm still trying to wrap my arms around how to state this where I am more eloquently, but I'm just
Oh,
giving you
it's a
how to
great job.
pack the term
Hmm.
and what it means to nurses, what it means to people that are really doing good work, what it means to people that can have an impact on fixing these systems and making that a priority, how I can loop those things in so that this is not the outcome is what we all want, and which is for
Right.
nurses to be better and stronger, but make the systems work for them too to help them be better and stronger.
No, I like that answer. I think you articulated very well. In fact, um, what I received from that is just stay curious about resilience, however it's presented, to make sure that you stay ahead of that conversation. So, no, I appreciate that. Um, when we talk about the healthcare landscape right now, and it's rapidly evolving, it continues to evolve, and then we receive political, executive orders on different things that impact nursing. What are right now for you the most critical skills or mindsets that you believe nurses need to stay present for the future?
That's a great question. And I'll start with this. This is new world, new maps time, right? Like we have to have a new set of tools. And when I say tools, I mean that in a broader sense,
Right.
to deal with all these things that are coming into healthcare. Because over the years, there's been a seeping of what's happening in that space into healthcare. And sometimes if
Absolutely.
it does have an impact, it's not a heavy blow.
Hmm.
Now it's landed
Direct.
on us like Plymouth Rock, right? It's
Right.
like boom,
Right.
it's here and it's in
Right.
everything that we do. It's affecting everything, supply chain, um, uh, financial well-being of institutions, our
Mhm.
own financial well-being as members of society. You have these supposed, you know, positions on DEI and how it's going to the plan is to undo a lot of the work that we've done, even though
Right.
it's not, maybe it was not as impactful as we thought, but it's now becoming radioactive.
Right.
And you have people whose their personhood, their um,
Livelihood.
they're
Yeah.
under threat just to exist, and
Hmm. Hmm.
in a number of ways,
Right.
not just patients, but colleagues.
Hmm.
So it's everywhere. And
Right.
given how this is impacting everything, the most important thing right now to do is to take care of ourselves. Number one, we have to take care of ourselves
Right.
because the system is being set up for us to be tired, worn out, and stressed out. And when all
Hmm.
those things are happening, we do dumb things, right? We all
Yeah.
know. Someone gave an example of uh, at a talk that I attended where she went into a store to buy something and uh, somehow someone got in her car and tried to steal her car.
Oh.
She was on her way to Florida for a very important event. And because she was so stressed out over things and she was thinking
Right.
about the fact that she had to be somewhere else because it was a road trip,
Right.
she chased after the person
Oh.
off with her car. But she said, in my right mind, I wouldn't do that. Like I know better
Right.
not to do that and put
So
myself first.
stressed.
But
Right.
because I was under stress, I did a dumb thing where I could have hurt myself. And
Hmm.
that's what tends to happen in these spaces where we do dumb
Right.
things because we're super stressed.
Hmm.
We're hyper vigilant, we're hyper aroused and hyperactive. So we cannot afford to be in that state for too long,
Right.
for and in any
Hmm.
case avoid it completely if as much as we can, because that's
Right.
how we do dumb things. We don't do enough research. We hitch our wagons to the wrong policies and speak out of turn and don't give people grace and we
Hmm.
get angry. So it's really
Yeah.
important for us to center ourselves, take care of ourselves first, and then look at how we can support each other
Hmm.
better, because we need to have community now around a lot of the things that we're
Right.
facing. We don't have to face it alone. And then think about how we create forms of resistance in a way where we
Hmm.
do a calculation of the risk of that resistance so that it doesn't add and pose any further threats to ourselves and our families and the people that we love and care about. So I think those are the three things.
Yeah.
Um, on top of all that, stay informed, but don't be super um, consumed with everything that comes our way.
Oh.
Like, like I don't, I get my alerts on my phone, and I only spend my morning looking at the news, and I shut it down. I don't spend a lot of time watching the news on TV, and
Oh.
we know
You
what that
can't.
do to a soul. So we have to take care of ourselves and make sure that we're caring for our loved ones and let ourselves be loved on, and then form a community around our next steps in terms of how we manage this current state that we're in.
I think what you said will support a lot of nurses. I mean, because it was music to my ears. And we all need reminders. We all need to hear it again. Take care of yourself because nurses, we're the worst. We usually take care of everyone else and not ourselves. So it's so important. Um, I don't know. You got me where I'm speechless for a minute because I'm trying to take that in. I think that's really important that everyone should hear that message. And you mentioned, and so I want to touch on this a little about, the current talk or lack of talk of DEI. Um, how are you addressing these issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion in nursing leadership and practice today with the current climate?
Yeah, it's being talked about, but being talked about in the wrong way. And the acronym is being um taken and reused in very negative forms in a number of
Yes.
different spaces as well.
Mhm.
And but I'll start with the fact that the impression that's being given in terms of, not the impression, the intentional misinformation, which I also call
Right.
malinformation,
Hmm.
what it means is impacting a lot of people, a lot of organizations and things.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
I've really thought about this because, similar to what I just said, I'm
Hmm.
not going to get hyper aroused over this, and I'm not going to get
Right.
hyperactive over this. Does it hurt somewhat? Oh, absolutely, because we were hopeful that we'll continue to move things forward because it's about equity.
Mhm.
That's the outcome that we're trying to achieve with everything
Right.
we've been trying to do, which is not about taking from one group to benefit another.
Yeah.
Really about how we're basically trying to level the playing field and level the
Right.
playing field for people who have never known the rules of the game, have no
Right.
control over the outcome of the game, and seem to be on the losing end every single time.
Right.
So now that it's being managed in this way where people are running and walking away from it largely,
Hmm.
this is new maps time. So it is a matter of understanding what order or whatever communication, what impact it has on you, the impact it has on your organization. Once
Hmm.
you understand the impact, what you will do differently. But what I encourage people to do is that this is the time for courageous leadership. So this is not the time to walk away.
Hmm.
Need a label on doing work that benefits society or people that are downtrodden or people that are minoritized or marginalized. I don't
Right.
need a title or an acronym for me to do the work that I'm going to do.
Absolutely.
Just do it.
Just, I was giving a talk at a leadership conference just recently, and we the talk was around the fact that, we've always had DE and I. We've our nursing ethics. It's in everything that we do as nurses. So we shouldn't discontinue the conversation,
Mhm.
even if you need to be creative in your way. Because I mean, we have to face it. There are nurses that are working in federal spaces and other
Sure,
spaces that can't.
absolutely.
They can't even mention, but your nursing ethics, your nursing practice standards, you have to still abide by those, and those govern everything that we're talking about
Mhm.
in some way. So it's good to hear that you say that you're forging ahead with this, and um, yeah, I appreciate your work. It's
Well,
important.
it's
Yeah.
really as simple as, which is saying that is so true right now. I keep the main thing the main thing.
Hmm.
I just
Hmm.
keep the main thing the main thing. I uh as far as concepts, words, what have you, lucky for me,
Hmm.
the English language is very rich. I did some research and there are like a million words in the English language. And
Hmm.
sometimes to describe some of the things that we do, um, we use other words from other languages. We use
Absolutely.
Spanish words, Italian, like we,
Hmm.
yeah. So, lucky for me, I have a number of ways to use other terms to describe the current state and to describe what I'm trying to achieve. Unlucky
Absolutely.
for them, I know that.
Right. Right. But then they have us, and that's what advocacy is, and that's what community and the nursing profession, and That's why there's associations and enterprises and foundations like ANA, right?
Yeah, and there are a number of other organizations, and some are able to
Absolutely.
staunchly stand firm in saying, no, we can stand on our own. We're going to continue this work no matter
Yeah,
what. Not everybody can do that.
that's true.
So we need to recognize that a lot of people, our ancestors, get creative in the struggle, and we should too.
Love it.
That's when innovation comes, when
Hmm.
we have a need and a desire for something different. So
Right,
innovation belongs here as well.
right.
So you put all those things together, we can work through what we're facing.
Hmm.
We can definitely figure out new ways of doing work because it's a different time. And given the fact that it's a different time, we act differently.
Right. We adjust. Love it. I know we're drawing close to the end of our conversation, our chat with you, and I always enjoy my time with you, Katie. You know
Oh,
that.
likewise.
Thank you. But I'd like to leave the listeners, the audience, just whatever message you may have for nurses who are feeling overwhelmed or disconnected in their work right now.
Well, I'm going to say this because, and what I'm going to say is also something that I need, right? So,
Okay.
this is, what does it say? Doctor, heal thyself.
There
So,
you go.
so, I still believe that, as nurses, we are perfectly positioned to do great things. We're perfectly positioned, because of the trust that the nation has in us. We're perfectly positioned because of our presence. We are everywhere. We're perfectly positioned because we're very educated people. We're also an innovative group. We also are people that are steadfast in terms of, for the most part, we don't take no for an answer. We go one way and we see it doesn't work, we find another. That's what we do. That's who we are.
Right.
So let's lean into what makes us us. Let's lean into what makes us the best profession I think the world has to offer. And also, let's lean into the fact that we need to strengthen this nursing community because we need each other to get through trying times. So, ergo, the power of nurses.
Wonderful. And there you have it. Some great closing words from Dr. Katie Boston-Leary tonight on Clinician Voice podcast. It's been a pleasure having you on again. Thank you so
Thanks for
much for
having me.
joining.
Happy Nurses Week, everybody.
Happy Nurses Week. And to our listeners, we hope that you will join in again on the Clinician Voice podcast. Thank you.